Is my hair on prime fluffiness? I'm hungry.
Right.
Okay.
Should we do this?
Hold on. Let's come back.
Hey monkeys, how you doing? Damian Keys here, and welcome to the hashtag Ask Damo show number 42. I'm good at this. With me as always is Melissa.
Hello.
You have some questions?
I do indeed.
We don't have any stuff. But do you know what I have got? I have got 2 cups of tea.
I did notice that and I didn't question it.
Yeah, do you know what?
You're just at that level of your day.
Yeah, I don't care. I literally don't care. People are going to go, he's got 2 cups of tea, and I'm just throwing it out there now. What are you going to do about it? I don't even care. I'm going to drink this tea.
Me too.
Then I'm going to drink this tea. What are you going to do? And the reason for that is it was a long day yesterday, so that's the reason
the man
why.
needs his tea.
Yeah, that's the reason why I sound like some kind of cast member of Game of Thrones. Yeah, but yeah, that's what we got.
What
have we got for us?
Indeed? So, question 1 came through on Instagram.
Okay.
This is from the audio journey. Hey Damian, I currently teach music production online and I also want to build up my own artist profile. So do you have any branding tips for people that want to do more than one thing in the industry? Yeah,
and I think this crops up quite a lot, and there's definitely the yin and yang, because I was having an argument with Katie, who's my PA, yesterday, and she hates it when someone has an Instagram and they do something else.
Okay.
But I also hate it when I've got to follow 3 people's Instagram because they've got one for basketball and one for this and one for something else. So there's definitely a mix. But I think a big thing that we are in now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the industry is very much a case of everybody wants to be a solo artist. Like that, only because it's just so much easier to be a solo artist now than it's ever been before. It's always been a lot harder. Now you can just make stuff in your bedroom, and it might be a bit lonely, but you can do that. And I think there's more options for people to build up work outside. And I talked to Bruce about this quite a lot. Nowadays we are in a phase in the music industry where the harsh reality is, when you're a musician, a lot of the time you need to have a job to support it. You can still, I know musicians that are on, musicians that people watching this will go, oh, I know them. Yeah, really, I know them, who work in jobs, like in shops and and really, really good bands. I know a band at the moment who's touring America, a decent sized band that most people would have heard of, and one of them works in a as a waiter in a steakhouse. I know other people that work in record shops and things, because it's very difficult to be consistently sustaining your career. And so what happens is, if you are lucky enough, or more importantly not lucky enough, if you can work hard enough at your ability, your techniques, your skill set, there's no reason why you can't build yourself as a profile, as an artist or as a band or as a personality, and then have a side work which brings in the money, and also they can definitely cross-pollinate, and they can not only help each other from an engagement numbers point of view, but also from a financial point of view. And I think that's the state of play that we live in with the music industry, that anyone who just says, I just want to leave my job, and I'm like, well, you probably can at times, but there are other times where unless you get to a point where you're doing pretty big level gigs consistently, unless you're doing that, it's very, very difficult for having 4 or 5 people in a band all on enough money after tax, after you've paid managers and everyone else who takes their cut of the industry. It's very, very difficult for you to make enough money. So therefore you have to have some kind of side hustle, and if you do this properly, there's no reason why your side thing can't actually be attached. So in this case, for example, to be an artist and a producer, that works. Those are things that you can say, well, I can make my money from this, and I know lots of people that do this, that make their money from being a producer, but they're an artist. But from a branding point of view, I personally, I think we live in an age of personal branding. So, press and PRs is not saying it's different from any other time we've ever been to, but I think it's so much easier to build a personal brand. And you know, and if we think about our favourite artists and bands and musicians, if they had a side hustle, we'd probably be interested to know about it. You know, I should think. So, you know, when a bass player says, "Oh, I'm going to do lots of bands who are doing well will have like a kind of a small extra band on the side, which is like their kind of release from being in this big project." It doesn't always have to be kept separate, really. You know, it can definitely cross-pollinate. But I think the big part of this, it comes down to personal branding, especially if you're an artist as opposed to a band, because you hold all of the keys. So building yourself up as an artist can definitely promote yourself as a producer, as long as your production works good, and vice versa. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't have just not only all of the usual social media platforms and then all of the usual social media platforms times 2, because you have to have you as an artist and then you as a producer, and then but I need my personal stuff and I have to have my personal Facebook. All of a sudden you just go, well, this is all you're doing there is complicating it. And I live my life just by keeping things as simple as humanly possible, and it works really well. Don't complicate things. Keep it as simple as possible. And so, you know, if it was, no, actually, I just think you can. I think you can do that. I don't agree. I think you can actually.
You think you can merge both?
I think you can. Yeah. I don't. You know, I think if you're an interesting person and you've got something to say, I think people will come with you on that journey.
Does it risk muddling what the product is that you're essentially selling? At all, do you think for a kind of new coming fan?
I think it depends on the way that you do it. Okay. So I think it depends on how you market yourself and how you brand yourself and how different they are. In this instance, they're very, very similar. Yeah. They're both very, very linked. And nowadays, being an artist, you kind of, a lot of the time you are a producer at the same time. So they very much go hand in hand. If it was something completely and utterly radically different, then...
So say I was like a chef as well.
And you wanted to promote your food channel or your food blog at the same time. But even then, I still think there's ways of doing it. Because I think so. Okay. Because you know, obviously we've known each other for a while, so therefore I'm personally invested in you. But that's what social media is about. There's certain people I'm emotionally invested because I've seen enough of their content and I like it. When they say, "Oh, I've got this new idea, I'm thinking of doing this," I'm like, "Oh, it's just a story. That's a new thing. I'm here for you." So you know, I'm sure there's certain guidelines, but I do think we live in a time now where you can do this easier than you've ever done it before.
Just getting people to invest in you personally.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's personal branding as opposed to. But if it was, you know, the audio journey, because people buy from people, and you know, people will follow the stories of people, and it's very, very difficult to get someone to buy into the story of a business like it is the personal story, unless you are adding lots of personal stories into the business thing. So I think the more you can make this about personal branding in this instance, the better. Okay. That for me. But I honestly think that we live in a time now where you have to acknowledge that you will be trying to make money in several different streams. That's just reality. It's not just going to be from making music and selling music, because it's going to be merch, it's going to be live tickets, it's going to be streaming, it might be sponsorship, it might be branding, it might be doing some extra producing on the side. You might be an artist and you have some downtime and someone says, "Do you fancy coming and playing guitar for me because I'm going on tour for a couple of weeks," and you're a session musician. You know, it's just a way of actually avoiding getting a job for as much time as you can, and then when you do get something, to try and actually get rid of it as quick as possible. And or if you are going to have to do something that funds what you do, which is completely fine nowadays, there's nothing wrong with that. We live in that age. If that's the thing, then to actually work towards something that you enjoy doing, rather than something that you hate and you go, "I hate doing this work, but I work for the band." It'd be much, much better to say, "No, this is really good, I really like this, and it helps this bit of it."
Okay, cool. So question 2, this is another one from Instagram, so forgive me if I say this wrong. Atronach UK.
Atronach,
Okay, nice.
Legends.
How could we get more engagement on Instagram?
Okay.
It's topical.
It is topical, and again, because of the algorithms and other stuff with Facebook and everything else. So I'm spending a lot of time at the moment working on Instagram, because anyone who knows me knows I've never really been an Instagrammer. I would love if I, because I want to learn more about social media. I'm on all of the platforms. I'm looking around and I'm watching. The reality is for where I want to go with my personal brand, I just come to the conclusion that I've been fighting it for a long time and I just have to do more Instagram stuff, which isn't, it's just my personal choice that I really want to do that, but I will. But I love YouTube. That's my big thing. I love YouTube. Facebook, I do. I have a love-hate relationship. I do think it's just a monster. It's fantastic, and you can do so much with it. But I do have frustrations.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Yeah, and so with Instagram, the reason why I like this question is because for the last couple of weeks, I've just spending a lot of time watching, consuming, experimenting, and trying. So, so I put out an Instagram picture with some ideas for exactly this question. But I think with Instagram, a big part of this now is it's not so much playing the algorithm. It's what I think with Instagram is it's something that people don't do consistently.
Okay.
I think people are able to do a lot of social media consistently, but they push. When it comes to Instagram, you realise that you can't just push, which people do on Facebook. They go, oh shit, I need to put something on Facebook. Buy my album, buy my single, buy, do this, me. And you can't really do that on Instagram. So effectively, you have to be creative. Yeah. You actually have to make content that's of value. And so I see a lot of bands that really struggle with that. The best thing, I mean, because you've got so many things with Instagram, you've got the story, you've got live, you've got the feed. Today I'm doing this, which is like an Instagram takeover where I'm going to go on to, I'm doing an event in South Carolina in July, and they've asked if I can do an Instagram takeover, which I will, and I'm going to chat to their audience and see if I can sort of cross-pollinate a little bit about some social media and some ideas. So there's so many things that you can do with Instagram which are amazing. I just don't think people are creative enough, and I also don't think people use Instagram to tell their story enough. Yeah. The story thing is so important for me, the Instagram thing is everything's got a story. So with your band, if you do a gig, there's so many aspects of that little tiny story that you can put in, and you can have a picture, you can have a video, you can have an actual story on Instagram, and you can have all of the text in there at the same point. So that to me is what bands aren't doing. They're just posting stuff up and seeing what hits and what sticks. And I think it needs to be more. It needs to be engaging because people need to buy into the band and the personalities. And you can have a not very good band who are very, very good on social media like Instagram and therefore have a good following because they're interesting. Yeah. And you can also get bands that you just think you should have so many more numbers. I'm just not really interested in your social media. And then after that, if you look at the new Instagram guidelines, there are a bunch of new Instagram guidelines which have taken effect over the last 4 to 6 weeks, where Instagram have just said, again, same as Facebook, because they're owned by the same company, we don't want you to be doing as much marketing or seeing as much marketing, seeing as much marketing. So therefore, there's a few guidelines that we're kind of, it's not rules. It's not rules because one of them is, for example, you are allowed 30 hashtags, but they're recommended 5.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't put 30. Yeah. It just means that if you put 30, it starts to think, hang on, you're just trying to market here. This is too vague, and you get what they call reduced visibility. Okay. So again, it's playing the algorithm and actually experimenting on what works for you. And there's a lot of stuff with hashtags because obviously people use them a lot. So if you use the same hashtags again and again and again, Instagram picks up on it. Okay. If like I said, if you use too many hashtags, if you use hashtags which just aren't actually specific to the picture, all of these things, people aren't researching them. So other things for the Instagram, this is all on, I've done a video on YouTube, so you can go and check this out. Hopefully we'll link it below. But there's some other Instagram guidelines which were, they want to see more Facebook Live, obviously. Yeah. I mean, that's something we talk about quite a lot. But I am starting to see bands, since we've started talking about it a bit more, I am starting to see bands and artists actually biting the bullet. Have you done an Instagram Live yet?
I haven't, no.
Today's the day. Okay. Today is the day.
I know, I'm one of the worst for that.
It is scary though.
Yeah, it's getting over that first hurdle of just feeling confident enough to do it, I think.
Yeah, but I do think, it's preparing it, setting up, but more importantly, just saying, I just go on and have a chat to some people.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things people are scared of with Instagram Live is the numbers.
Yeah.
Because when you've got 1,000 or 5,000 people on your Instagram, and then when you go into your Instagram Live, it says 15 people are watching. It doesn't give you the most, because Instagram's such a egocentric metric.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you a good feeling to say, wow, out of my 2,000 followers, 15 people have come and said. Do more of them, and I guarantee it will build. If you get known for doing more Instagram stories, it will absolutely build. So things to do is, number one, go and watch that video that I've done with the guidelines. But I would say the biggest thing is how you fit in stories. And I don't mean one big story over a period of months. I mean everything can have a story.
Yeah.
Every little bit can have a story, and you're taking people on your journey. And it used to be that vlogs used to be on YouTube, and they used to have to film their entire day and spend 3 hours and going in and edit the whole thing, and it would go on YouTube. Well, Instagram stories have just gone, you could just vlog your day as you go. 10 seconds at a time, a little bit here. What's the story of this hour? What's the story of now? What's the story of now? What's the story of now? Oh, you've got a blog. There's your day. So more of that.
Yeah. Okay. So question 3 is from Luby. Hi Damo, changing name of the band, yes or no? Thanks.
Yes.
So
this is a really good question, because I have had wars with bands where they've had their name, and I tell you the thing they always say when you say, look, I would recommend you change your name for many reasons. The first thing they come up is they go, oh no, but we've built an audience. And it's always like 1,000 people. Yeah. And you go, 1,000 people out of 7 billion in the world is not a good reason for you not to change your name. Because if you have got a name that will prevent you from being successful, it will prevent you from being successful. 1,000 people or not makes no difference.
Yeah.
And there are so many different elements to why a name wouldn't work. For example, if you stand on stage and you say something that people are going, how do I spell that? That's crazy. Or if you've got a name which is so generic, Mug, that you just go, how am I going to find that? Or a band name that's already been taken up in 15 other countries. There's so many reasons why. Or products. There are products out there, and people have named their band after a product. And I'm like, you are fighting a losing battle straight away. So I've had this loads of times where I'm like, the name is a problem. You need to have a think about the name, because people say it's really hard to have a name, and it's like, well, it is, but there's certain things that, like when I was on the radio station, when stuff comes through to me now, when I'm talking to guys who are sort of dealing with bands, there's a certain kind of understanding that if you can't get your name, your pictures, and your correspondence right, then how are you possibly going to get the music right? How can you do that? All of a sudden the name comes through and you just go, I know this. They haven't taken pride in their name enough. I'll be very surprised if I'm going to listen to this and it's going to be groundbreaking. And there are just an infinite amount of names that you can have, and you can then go and test them on Facebook or on Google to see if there are other bands who have a following that you are stealing their name from. But the short of it is, changing the band name, yes, because what it comes down to is very, very simple. If your band name will prevent you from being successful, then you have to change your name. Or don't be successful. Don't get the success that you want to get, and it can hold you back.
Isn't there a sort of obviously slight problem of when you do want to change your name, a lot of socials won't let you change it after you're above a certain amount of likes, or it has to be something similar.
And so you start again.
Yeah, and would you always think that's the better route to go down?
Yeah, I don't buy into this idea of I've spent so much time working on it. If you've still got, unless you have been locked out of your social media and you can't get in. Other than that, there's so many ways to actually get to your audience. You can do it on a one-to-one basis. If you've got 3,000 people who are on your Facebook page who know who you are, and you have to do a bunch of marketing to say, I'm really sorry, we're having to change the name for whatever reason, legal reasons, blah, blah, blah. It's a story. You make it into a story. Then you actually start going and finding blogs and press and using and radio and using that as a story of why it's happened. And then on top of that, you actually just start talking to people and saying, look, I know you like the page. Would you mind liking the page again? We're talking about a matter of a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
Even if I had to start my entire social media again, because it's taken me 1.5 years to get to where I am, I reckon if I had to start from scratch, give me 4 months.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've got the content.
Yeah.
So because I own the content, 3 months, not even 4 months, because I could put the content out there, I could put it in the right place, I could target the people who've already liked my page and say, I'm really sorry, but I've changed my name to Deedpole. And the reason why I would do that is because no fucker can spell my name right ever. Every time like we were at a show yesterday, and I look behind and I'm like, brilliant. I just can't spell it right. Like, I
know.
I blame my mum. But should I change my name to Deedpole to say, fine, you all win, I will change my name and it will be Damien. Fine, you'll find me a lot easier. And then I have to change my social media. Even if I start again, I don't have a problem with that. You know, and it to me, this is the same.
Greater good.
It's the same as business. You know, if I have to start again, it doesn't take you as long to get it. Same with a band. If your band splits up tomorrow, to get to this level that you are now, even though it feels like a massive upheaval, I'm telling you now that if you went back to starting from scratch, and as soon as you get the musicians in place and you start again, to get to this level is going to take you a quarter of the time that it's taken to get you to where you are now. It's just that people are going, but I can't be arsed, and then they make a bunch of excuses. And what people do, this is the old Martin Lindstrom thing, is people will they'll buy something or they'll make a decision like this with their head, and then what they'll do is they'll justify it with their heart, you know. So what they'll start doing is they'll go, but I need it because, but I can't do the band change name because people know who we are. And it's like you're just justifying nonsense there. People won't mind. Even the Foo Fighters could just say, I'm changing the name from the Foo Fighters, we want to do something new, we're going to call it, everyone would know because they go in the press. And yes, they're the Foo Fighters, so yes, they have multinational press outlets, but they're dealing with millions and millions and millions. Whereas most bands are dealing with hundreds or thousands. So no reason why you can't do it.
And to be fair, I've seen this happen with a lot of bands, and it tends to kind of go back up quite quickly.
Absolutely. Because you've learned how to do it. Because every day you go, that's easier if I do this, or that's better. And your songwriting gets better, your pictures get better.
Well, the trial and error's been done.
Exactly, and that's why it gets faster and faster. So if you're thinking right now, when you're listening to this, is our band name the right name? I'll put it out there, it's probably not. Because if you're there saying, is it? Probably not. Because if you had a band name like Rage Against the Machine, that wouldn't even cross your mind. You'd be like, it was an incredible name. The Grateful Dead, it was an incredible name. Like, there's so many names out there. Royal Blood, what a brilliant name for a band. So, you know, if you're there thinking, is our band name right for us? Then it probably, I would say it probably isn't.
So this is the last question from Steph.
I haven't even finished my first cup of tea.
What are you doing, Damo? We've got to catch up. Hi, Damo. Please could you cover PR/how to approach and get your music releases out to press? And what else should you be doing in the build up to a release? Thanks.
Yeah, so I did a blog on this a little while back where I talked to Claire. So Claire Lloyd is from a press and PR company called Central Press. So first thing to do is pause this video and just go and find Central Press, go and find Claire. She's brilliant. But she also has a bunch of mates in the industry, and she basically had a chat with a bunch of them and gave them a questionnaire, and we were just chatting about, you know, when you're sending stuff out, what works, what doesn't work. When you're receiving stuff, what do you like and what do you not like. And it was really, really interesting. But this is a really specialist field, and some people are very, very good at it. But it's not the type of thing that you can just jump into and expect to get good results. And it's another thing that you've got to do. You know, we're constantly talking about when you're the artist, you're in control of everything. Well, you find nowadays that there are press companies who don't charge that much for a campaign. And I talk about press and PR quite a lot, and how two different things. When you've got someone who's trying to get your music out there, or potentially you might have something trying to sort of press on you personally, a brand or an event, or whatever you decide to be, there's so many sharks out there, like so many, who will say, yeah. Oh, how much money have you got? £1,000 a month. Yeah, of course we'll take it. Because why would you not take it? And there's nothing worse than when you're sitting there with someone and they just go, yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work. And you go, well, why? And because music is so subjective, it could be something so simple, your voice. It could be your hair. It could be the picture. It could be something that people just pass up on. And the reason why that's the same is because if you think about consumption, if you think about yourself, we do that every day. Like, we understand the genre that we understand. So for me, I grew up on mostly rock, metal. If some band had come along that had been manufactured, they could have spent all of the money in the world. If it wasn't real, if I didn't like it, it would just be, nope. You just go, no shit, don't like it, gone. All the money's gone. And that was always the way with labels. That's why you have this proof thing where you can prove it now. And so you can spend a lot of money on press and PR and get absolutely twatted, and
it still doesn't mean that you're bad, because it's, as you say, it's just people have their own agenda.
Absolutely. And this is what's great about where we live at the moment. So I used to manage this band called Floors and Walls. They were brilliant. I really loved them. I remember this. I remember I was doing the radio show. It was the first week of the radio show, and I was asking bands to send me in demos. And I got this demo, and it was a cross between Rage Against the Machine with like a kind of, you won't thank me for saying this, but like a kind of slightly chavvy, rappy singer. And I was like, this is like the Streets and Rage Against the Machine. This is really weird. This was before, sort of Dizzy Rascal and stuff had come out. But the band was like full on rock band. Like, it was basically, like Billy Talent, and then with a sort of slightly chatty singer. I'm sorry, Alex. But they were amazing, and I remember listening to it thinking, God, I've never heard anything like this before. It was absolutely brilliant. And they worked really hard, we worked really hard. We got to the point where we headlined a venue in Brighton called the Concord 2, which had hundreds of people in, and there was about 100 people outside trying to get in. And we were like, this is taking off. And I don't class myself as a manager, and I was getting labels phoning me up, and I was like, I don't want to mess this up. Anyway, so it started building, and we were getting magazines phoning us up. We did some press and PR. We got them into Kerrang, and we got them into Enemy, and they hated it. Like and I was like, I don't take, when it comes to my social media, I get called all the names under the sun. I'm like, oh, it doesn't bother me. But when that happened, then it was someone else. I was like, I wanted to go and find that journalist. I was going to go around his house, and I was going to take him hostage and cut off his ears. I mean, I was not happy because it's, and that's why I know this is harsh and people are going to watch this, but Enemy has pretty much gone under. Good. I don't like it. Don't like them. I hate them. I mean, we had this conversation when you came in, and I'm like, good. Because as much as they've done good for some bands, they've damaged so many bands, and I don't think that they took responsibility for the power that they had. And I had so many bands that went through that process just for some twat sitting in their mum's bedroom to just go, no. Like, you.
So do you feel like that's quite a big risk with PR, that you might end up not getting the results you want?
Yes, but anyway, off my rant.
Sorry.
But the good thing now is that's not the end. At the time, that was the end. This was 10 years ago, and at the time we were like, they hate it. What do we do? Where do we go with press outlets from here? They're not going to feature this. They just say we don't like it. It was tough. Now you just say, who cares? Like, because Enemy ain't going to last as a band. Enemy won't be there. Kerrang might not. Metal Hammer may be there, may be gone. It doesn't make any difference, because the audience now decides that's the best bit. It can be every single magazine and newspaper and radio and TV. Every single one of them can rate you 0 out of 5 and hate on you. It doesn't matter anymore.
Which is quite nice.
It literally doesn't matter, because if I do something and the audience likes it, no shit's given at all. Literally, I will literally just photocopy a picture of me doing this and send it to her and be like, what are you going to do, mate? What are you going to do? Because I will build the audience and I will do this myself. And that's the best bit. So,
but there's some kind of freedom that's opened up with social media.
But there are a lot of people that will say, we'll do, PR works on a time basis, and it works on how experienced they are and how many contacts they've got and how good at their job they are. But they can't create magic. They can't do that. So and it's frustrating. So you need to have people that you trust on your team. And nowadays, a lot of press and PR people, most of them will do it as a retainer. So you can actually just say, okay, well, I want to do this for a single or an EP or an album or a tour I've got coming up. And we actually say, good, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to plan. We're going to try and approach these radio shows, these magazines, these newspapers, these bloggers, whatever it's going to be. And you pay your retainer as long as you're happy with that. But you also have to be happy with it's a gamble. Whether you like it or not, you can put £1,000, £2,000, £3,000 into PR, and you can, not always, but you can sit there at the end with nothing and go, well, we tried. It didn't work. Nobody picked us up on it. So you can but try.
Yeah. So. Okay. And that is all.
That is all.
Yeah.
Good. So send us some stuff. Please.
You're doing well with your swearing.
We want some stuff on all. If you can do me a favour and just go on to SMAD, that's an underscore, smad_.com. Come and say hi tonight so I'm not on my own, I'm not too lonely, because this is an American based company. I'll be there 5 till 9 tonight, so if you can do that, if you wouldn't mind just adding them on Instagram and saying hi, that would be absolutely brilliant. If you've got any questions, #AskDamo. But at the moment I'm getting so much stuff going on in the DMs. You know, that's where the magic is. So if you need me, DMs.
The DMs.
And busy week. So
crazy busy week.
Tomorrow, Isle of Wight. So that'll be fun. Come to see Platform 1, College in the Isle of Wight. Absolutely brilliant. And they're doing it. You know, as you probably aware, I'm not a massive fan of music education across the board. But there are some places that are just doing such a fantastic job. Platform 1, one of those places. Yeah. Bath Spa, another one, really, really good.
Nice.
And there's a new college coming soon.
Ooh.
I'm not, it's not mine.
Okay.
But there is a new college coming soon. I think it's going to be a game changer.
Oh really? What is it? Are we allowed to know?
No, but it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be something that's going to, in my opinion, it has the ability to stop music education in its tracks and restart it, which is what it needs. Yeah. Because when I and Bruce, when we left what was the music education sector in Guildford when we did in 2001 to set up BIM, we rebelled against a system which we felt was inflated. Now it's like insane. Yeah. And there's too many people coming out of music college with debt and nothing to show for it apart from a piece of paper, which, let's face it, I employ a lot of people. I don't give a shit about that. So at this moment in time, there's something on the horizon which will be launched in the next couple of weeks, which I will hopefully be... I just want to be a part of it. Yeah, because exciting. Yeah, I think it's going to be a game changer. So we shall see. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, any questions you've got, give us a shout, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.